Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Behind the Group podcast. I am DJ Keo.
And I am Basil Barrington, and we are back. We're not going to really do a review. We're just going to talk about the Ahsoka
No.
series, season one. It was, I don't even know the word for it. Interesting as
This
even.
word is trash. Dumpster fire. We can use that.
Listen,
Oh my
we were
god.
talking offline. Ahsoka, this is your name.
Yes.
This is your show. It's called Ahsoka. You should shine in this joint. When you have the villain in your own show outshining you, that's a problem.
That's embarrassing. That is embarrassing.
I
Good
mean,
God.
everything. I mean, so the whole premise of this, and it's kind of weird, and I know like it's coming from, the animated series and everything else,
Mhm.
which they sort of morphed two into, but because you had
Yeah.
like it's kind of
Oh,
weird,
go
right?
ahead, go ahead.
Because you had the Clone Wars and then like Rebels, and
Mhm.
so they sort of morphed those together. You never saw Sabine
Mhm.
and Ezra in or did you? And no, you did
No, they're
not
in there.
in the Clone Wars, really?
They're not in Clone Wars. They're in
Yeah,
Rebels.
they're in Rebels, right?
Yeah.
So you brought Ahsoka over because I guess Ahsoka was the master for Sabine, but
Mhm.
this was all this happened because Bratty Sabine was trying to rescue Ezra. All
Screw
this
that guy.
happened
Like,
because of that.
see, the thing is though, they're making Ezra seem like he's Luke Skywalker, and that if we don't get this guy back, we're gonna lose the war. The war is over. You guys
It-
won already.
yeah,
Like, I get the thing of like, I would, it would be cool if we get it back. That'd be cool, but it's not the game changing thing. Like they're acting like it was a game changing thing, and all of this is gonna be over if we don't get this guy back. Like, all right, if you want to go on a side mission to go just gather him, then fine, that's cool. I don't mind that at all. But
mhm.
you guys are the way you're presenting it is he's the key to everything, and if we don't get this guy back, we're all gonna lose. But you guys won already. You won by him being over there, so it's kind of a pointless argument to make. And then you get him back, and this guy's a bum. Like, I'm like, yo, this guy's I don't his force powers is trash. His lightsaber stuff is trash. He didn't even want a lightsaber. I'm like, bro, what's going on here? Like that's how far away you are from the force that you're like, I don't need a lightsaber anymore. What
yeah,
is this?
you
How
know,
are you a Jedi?
and the other thing is he built himself a lightsaber on the ship.
Now it's
You know,
convenient. Now it's
yeah.
convenient. I need a lightsaber now. Like, bro,
I
you
thought
had
this
one. It's
I thought
yours.
this took like a few months to make. They had to like, size you up the whole nine. Oh boy, he put it together like in a couple minutes. It's crazy. The other thing we were talking about offline was if you take
Mhm,
the entire season and you
mhm,
remove every scene with Ahsoka and Sabine, the show is
mhm.
actually really good.
Yeah, it's a lot better without the two of them. Cause
It's
like Ahsoka is just miserable and she's got her arms crossed. She's looking down like, "Rrr, I don't know,
right.
rrr, rrr," okay. And Sabine's just being annoying.
Yeah,
So
she's
you remove these two characters,
mhm,
you have good actors. You really have good actors around there doing stuff. I think that the storyline and the plot would be more interesting if Ahsoka wasn't part of this whole thing here,
yeah.
and they just went there to the planet to gather him and come back, and that was the story. And on the other side of the galaxy, Ahsoka's doing other stuff. She's being a Jedi and doing things. That would have been cool.
Yeah.
And you bring him for season 2, and then stuff gets real. Like I've been okay with that. But the way they did it was the worst way possible. I
Yeah.
don't think you could have didn't pick a worse way to do this. I
Man,
don't I don't care.
yeah. Every episode I had to really just work my way through it. I was like, oh, I can't, then Sabine would show up. I'm
Bro.
like, oh, I can't, you know. Um, when you look at this season and then when they brought in Thrawn, right? And because Thrawn
Mhm.
was he shined. He was the character who shined for me, Thrawn.
I like Thrawn, but like, yo, why they gotta give him so many L's? Like he lost everywhere. He didn't win anything.
It seemed kind of strategic though. I mean, according to what I've read, he's like really a
He's
strategist, you
supposed to
know?
be Thrawn is a G.
Hmm.
He is a straight up G. Like that's why they like the way they set this show. This is the problem with the show. All right. So they're telling you the book version of Thrawn is coming, and then you get TV version of Thrawn, and you're like, come on, bruh.
Yeah.
Like all your stormtroopers, they got glue on their uniforms. Like they tape their stuff up with scotch tape. Like, come on, bro. Like that looks insane. All that
Yeah.
looks insane. Your ship looks like trash. Your ship looks like if it hit a rock, the whole ship's gonna fall apart. That's what it looks like.
It's huge though,
And
isn't
so
it?
I'm like, I gotta be, yeah, it's a
Mhm.
giant ship,
Mhm.
and you got thousands of soldiers, but your ship looks like if you just hit one rock, like you hit one pebble on the road, it's a wrap. You're gonna be in a tree somewhere. That's what the ship looks like, and your soldiers look like that too. Like
Yeah.
if he came out of here and the soldiers were all clean and everything was just ready to go, and he looked like he's been lifting weights and doing push-ups like in jail this entire time, I'm like, okay, let's go.
Yeah.
That's what should have happened. But you got Thrawn who's telling you the lines of yo, I'm a master strategist, I'm a genius, but I look like I've been chilling in jail for and I didn't do push-ups in jail like I normally do. I was just eating cake. I
You
was eating
know.
a lot of cake.
Mhm.
That's what
You
he
know.
looked. It doesn't look. That's what it reminded me of. Everything
Mhm.
reminded me of like this guy was like, "Yo, F it, we're never getting out of here." That's the
Yeah.
everything looks like that. Like you're on a planet. You could get there's resources on the planet. You can make new uniforms. You could have made gangster new uniforms from the planet and be like, "Yo, we're a different division." You could do that. There's
Or
stuff here.
because they introduced, well, not introduced, but the witches or the sisters of Dathomir, right? They could have given him
Mhm.
anything. Like, here's a new uniform.
Yes.
Here's a new
Yes.
sword. Here's some new men. The whole nine.
Yes.
I wish they had explored that like little piece right there, the sisters or the witches of Dathomir. Like in the Clone Wars, they were serious, dude. I mean, they were serious.
Mhm.
The other thing I like about this show is the world kind of looked like Star Wars. It wasn't like
Yes.
it wasn't Boba Fett, where it was just they were on one planet, just going from rock to rock. This
Mhm.
looked like Star Wars.
It
And it's
it looked good.
unfortunate. It's unfortunate
Yes.
that everything about the show looked and felt like Star Wars except any of the segments with
Mhm.
Ahsoka and Sabine. Listen to that.
I don't I don't understand because these are Filoni's babies here. These are all Filoni's. This is all his stuff.
Yeah.
He created all these things except Thrawn,
Mhm.
and so like this is his thing. He's got an insane amount of budget, and he's got Kathleen Kennedy, everybody else on his team. Disney's like, just go for it, and this is what he came up with.
Yeah.
Because like it feels like he could not translate the cartoon into live action,
No, he
but
couldn't.
he
I knew
got
that wasn't. I knew he wasn't going
the
to be able to do
visuals
that.
he got
Mhm.
right.
Yeah.
It feels right. It looks right. But like you couldn't translate the silliness of a cartoon because you could be silly, but on a TV show, there's a fine line when you be silly when you're silly on a TV show. There's a fine line between it gets wacky and then it's serious and interesting.
Yeah.
Just super fine line. And like if you look at Loki, Loki had jokes in the show, but it was still serious. Like you
Yeah.
got the feeling like,
Mhm.
we took a little thing off here, but we didn't add a pie to the face
Yeah.
to the what's going on to
It's
the
almost like
situation.
shining a little bit of light on a situation in a sort of comic way, but it was still
Yeah,
serious.
yeah. But
So
it was
yeah.
like, yo,
Hmm.
ish is mad real right now. Like, don't worry about it. Like that's what
Yeah.
it felt.
Hmm.
Whereas, you just the guy who took over for this show, he's done mostly cartoons only. I think only cartoons.
Hmm.
And he could translate what it looks like, but you can't translate the acting and the script and what's a good take and what's a bad take and like just inconsistencies or just people being like Ahsoka had her arms crossed this entire show.
Yeah.
Like you
She.
can't. That's not a good look for an actor that had crossed her arms. It's terrible.
This
She's not a
isn't.
terrible. She's a great actor,
Yeah.
actress,
This.
whatever.
But you know what? I don't think this is her jam. You know what I'm saying? I don't think so.
Yeah.
Um. When you look at the fighting scenes, right? The fighting scenes were trash. I mean,
Mhm.
they were, and you've said this before, how like, wait a minute, we're in Star Wars. Why aren't people getting sliced up with these lightsabers?
Yes.
It's just
Star
like,
Wars is when you
yeah,
get into a battle, you're losing something.
You're
You lose your
losing
life, your
something.
arm, your leg. You're losing something.
Right. And these fight scenes were like so corny. They were so weak. They were so thin. The only
Mm-hmm.
fight scene that was interesting was between Morgan, the
Mm-hmm.
Dathomir witch, right? And
Mm-hmm.
Ahsoka. And it wasn't Ahsoka. I was looking at Morgan and I was like, wow, she moves like she has some skills like in
Yeah.
this like
Yes.
off world or something, I'm just like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So, but the other fight scenes, man, they were just so corny. It was just like the fight scenes didn't even feel like Star Wars. I was like, what is going on here? It is so
Mm-hmm.
sad when someone says, we need this show, and they push you to make the show, and then you lose all integrity because it's not a great
Mm-hmm.
show. And that's what I
Yeah. Yeah.
feel
Yeah. Yeah.
Ahsoka
Yeah.
is, you know?
No, that's terrible. It
Yeah,
sounds terrible. It looks terrible. It feels terrible. Like it's all bad.
yeah,
All of this is bad, and I don't know. Like I don't think there's a way to fix it consistently because like what they did with the cartoon, trying to make the live action, I don't think you could do it.
no,
Or maybe you needed somebody else to do it, like a Gareth Edwards, somebody else that's
yeah,
like a
mhm,
unique vision
yeah.
that's not tied to whatever's going on in this thing. Like you need somebody else
I
because
said
it
this.
was bad.
It was bad. I said this to you like when I heard Ahsoka was coming up. I was like, I already prejudged it. I was like, there's no way they can get this right. And then once I knew it was
Mhm,
Rosario Dawson, I was like, there's no way they can get this because, like you said, to
mhm,
translate Ahsoka from the Clone Wars, who was bad as anything, great, right?
mhm.
To
Yeah,
translate
yeah.
that into live action with Rosario Dawson, it just didn't translate. It was just like
It did not fit
you
right.
needed
It
you
didn't
need a
feel good.
younger version. You needed someone a bit more spunkier. Ahsoka
Mhm.
didn't over time all of a sudden become this like quiet,
Yeah,
force.
she went from fun, lively, quirky
Yeah,
to like just boring,
yeah.
just
So
straight Liberian.
yeah,
Liberian Ahsoka. That's what we got here.
yeah. So I was just like, and I just knew it. I was just like, there's no way this live action isn't going to translate. The only way it would have
Mhm. You
translated
did call
was
it. You did
Yeah,
call
the
it.
only way it would translate if Ahsoka, like from day one, from episode one, was just straight Swiss cheese and people, great fight scenes. You can't be Star Wars without great fight scenes. And they did
Yes.
not have a great fight scene in this at all.
And
Ahsoka
you know
with
what's
her
funny?
swords and everything, it sucked completely.
When when Anakin is fighting her in the throwback scenes, whatever, when she's supposed to be dead or whatever,
Mhm.
Anakin looks like he's ready to go to do another Star Wars series, like right
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
Anakin was ready to go. His fight scenes were incredible. Whereas her was just she was just blocking and stopping. That's all
that's
she was
it.
doing.
Yeah,
And it was slow. It was slow blocking. It's like you can see like
slow, very
he's
slow.
got to slow down because he's like, ah man, this is not looking good right
Yeah,
now.
it was very
Like
slow,
you could
man.
tell like he's faster than her and more trained than her, and she just looks so sloppy and tired. And
Yeah.
it's the thing that the problem is like I like the actress. I love the actress.
Mhm.
I see her all the movies, TV shows,
I
everything.
used to
I
have a
love the actress.
I had a
I
crush
can't
on her
crush on
for a
her.
long time, for real.
Yeah. I
But I
guess she
mean,
got in politics, and we're not gonna talk
yeah,
about that. But like
well,
so
she sort of got into politics, dude. We know what that's all about.
but yeah, so the thing is though, like
Um,
I like her. I think she's a good actress.
yeah,
This role wasn't for her.
this
And I
not
think
for
the
her,
problem is that
dude.
people looked at like, yo, she looks like Ahsoka would be a grown up. Like,
Yeah,
I guess,
yeah, but
sure. Yeah, I mean, you can make the argument she does look like Ahsoka,
she
right?
does, and
But she doesn't
makeup is
act like
awesome.
Ahsoka.
Yeah, she doesn't
Yeah,
act
makeup's
like
awesome.
Ahsoka. Mhm.
She looks
She's
like
like
her. She doesn't act
Ahsoka
like her.
on opioids or something. She's just always she's too calm.
She
It's just like
she
that's not
looks
Ahsoka.
tired. And
Yeah,
the thing is, though, I've seen her act before, like like fun, lively, whatever. So it's possible.
mhm,
But the problem is, I don't think Filoni was up for the task. I think that was the huge problem here. That
yeah,
he was not up for the task, and there's no direction because he's not a director. So somebody who does cartoons, he's like, we're gonna do a fight battle, and the guys who do the
yeah.
cartoons are like, we're gonna fix the fight battle and do the. Now this is your job now.
Yeah,
You got to do that,
it just
and he's not up for the task.
it
He's
didn't
not.
work out, man.
It's,
It didn't work out.
it looked rough.
This is I called it. I was like, It's not going to work out." It's just it's
Mm.
we're going to wrap this up. You can't take. I just knew that there was no way. Obviously there is a way, but I just felt that it would be really difficult to take
Mhm.
Ahsoka from the Clone Wars and make that into a live action. I just felt that that was
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
be an issue.
It's like Brad Bird who did The Incredibles, and then I think his next movie was Mission Impossible,
Yeah.
and that Mission Impossible, I think it was 4. It was great. It was
Hmm.
spectacular. I was like, yo, get this guy more movies.
Hmm.
But like, he's coming into something established and ready to go, and like his limitations. Tom Cruise is on his shoulder, like, no, you can't do that, or we're gonna do this. I don't care what you say. I know
Hmm.
you're director, and I know you're director, but I'm
Hmm.
Tom Cruise, and this is what we're doing here.
We're
Like
doing
that.
this.
That was a huge factor going into why that movie was so good. Whereas Filoni basically has free reign to do whatever he wants,
Yep.
and I'm like, it doesn't look like he could get it done, and it didn't. He couldn't.
Yeah.
It's just something about it. Like it was off.
Yeah.
Like it feels like Star Wars. It looks like Star Wars. It acts like Star Wars, but it's not Star
It's
Wars.
not Star Wars,
That's
man.
what it was.
And it's unfortunate, man, that you're going to come out with this brand new TV series, this brand new series, brand new
Mhm,
live action based on an animated character, and for the
mhm.
first season to be complete and utter trash. That is
I
not good.
I just thought about it while you're talking. I know what the problem was.
What?
Lucas wasn't involved
Lucas
because
wasn't
Lucas
involved.
was involved in the Clone Wars. I bet you he was like, I want to do a bird thing. He's like, get out of here, man.
Yeah. Hmm.
Stop this crap. He's probably seeing dailies coming to this thing. It's like, yo, this is trash. Do
Yeah.
that over.
I think
And that,
he's. I think he served as an advisor, though.
no, he's not involved in this show. He was not
Really?
allowed to come down there. Yeah. I
Damn.
saw an article about this. Is it was like I can't remember the newspaper, but I saw an article about it. Is George Lucas was banned from the set. He couldn't come down there. They
Wow.
banned him. Cause
Wow.
he'd be like, I would do that different. He's just
Hmm.
back there in the director's chair, like, I'll
Like,
do that a little different. I don't know about
I
that. Like,
wouldn't do that.
yeah, just look at that. You sure that's your last line? You sure? Like, so I think that was a factor. That's I think that's the reason why this fell apart.
Wow.
Cause
Hmm.
like here's a guy who invented this thing, and here's a guy who, he likes it and he's a fan of it, but he didn't
Hmm.
invent it.
Yeah.
The other guy who invented it over there is like, I don't know about that. You sure about that?
Yeah. This is not good. So we are talking about Ahsoka
Mm.
season one. What are you gonna rate this season one?
Phew. Okay, so I got the 2 ratings here, and we had to do the
Hmm.
2 ratings.
Okay.
It looks like Star Wars, it acts like Star Wars, it sounds like Star Wars.
Hmm.
It has all the elements of Star Wars, right? So that rating, I would give like an 8, but for the show itself, I would give it a 2.
Mm. Ooh.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was rough.
Let me go with my two.
Mhm,
Look, feel, production. Like you said, it looks like Star Wars. It feels like Star Wars, which is really good. They don't do that a
mhm.
lot. They didn't do it in
Yeah, it's
really,
very rare.
Boba Fett, Kenobi,
Mhm,
Mandalorian. I mean, you felt that in Andor and you kind of felt that in Ahsoka. So I'm going to give that
mhm,
a 8.5. The
mhm.
show itself, I'm going to give that a 2 as well. I just think that you need to get rid of the brattiness of Sabine. I don't even know why you need her. This should have been a show
You
about
do not need that
Ahsoka
chick.
just like going from planet to planet, Swiss cheesing folks up. You don't
Yeah,
need
yeah.
her. Like this
You don't
storyline
need
was
her.
like, why did you bring in rebels into the
Mhm.
Clone Wars and had a
Yeah.
bratty kid? And I know why, because that was Ahsoka's Padawan at some point, right?
Mhm,
It
mhm.
just didn't work out. She's like from Mandalore, the whole nine. I mean,
It's
it's
trash.
it's yeah,
Like,
this
dude,
is
you guys are creating the
mhm,
lore. Fix your
yeah.
lore, right?
Yeah,
Get your stuff
exactly.
right.
It's just like, and it's so sad that you this is the first season of a show and this is
Mhm.
what they put out. So sad. I'm giving it a 2, but it looks and
Yeah.
feels like Star Wars. I'm giving that an 8.5.
Okay.
Well,
Alright.
unfortunately, we had to really trash this show, but it needed it
It
because
was
it's not a
garbage. It
great
needed
show.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I
not
agree.
bad. Well, there you have it. Thanks for checking out another episode of the Behind the Groove podcast. I am Basil Barrington.
I am DJ Keo.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And until next time, peace.
All right.